Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Ellasin, and I am Ellasin. Hey, Happy New Year, guys!
Happy New Year.
Y'all talk back to us. Tell me Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone has had a peaceful, new year start to their new year. So, the first real talk of 2023, and we are going to be talking about feeling, dealing, and healing. It's time to let this stuff go. It's time to let it go, right? So if you guys are watching on Facebook, hit the like button. If you guys are on YouTube, subscribe, share this out. We need to get this information out. It's time for us to deal, right? And on the show, the very first show of 2023, I have my honey here with me. I have Eric. Yay! I'm so excited. Y'all give me a thumbs up. Give him a thumbs up, guys. Yeah. Give him a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All right. So listen, I need you guys to talk back to me on this segment because I need y'all to understand what I am saying. Okay? We are going to talk about feelings. So many times people go, feelings, don't nobody have no time for that, right? What are feelings anyway? Right? We need to learn how to manage our feelings, how to deal with things that are bothering us, and how to heal from it. Mm-hmm. Did you know that 72% of Americans' health is impacted because they are not dealing with life stresses or trauma or anything in their life? 72%? That's a lot.
And what does that look like for younger people? Is it greater or is it lower for younger generations as opposed to older people?
Well, the generations, it just kind of teeters a little bit because you have to look at it. Some of the generations that went through the process of the COVID, they have learned a different way and don't know how to deal. So that situation, the numbers from 15 to 17 are actually higher. Right? It's actually higher because people are not dealing, and they didn't have to deal because they just stayed in the house. Yeah. So they're dealing with a whole different scenario of not being social and not knowing how to deal with anything except mama and brother and whoever was in the house, right? And I was reading where it said 30% of Americans stay in a constant state of worry.
Wow.
30% stay in a constant state of worry.
That's a whole lot of y'all worrying out there.
They worrying about, most of the time it's worrying about the future, something we have no control over in the first place. Right? Mm-hmm. And the scripture tells us that we shouldn't worry.
Right. It tells us to be anxious for nothing. Mm-hmm. Right. And so we're not to be anxious for anything. Mm-mm. Why? Because the day of the Lord is soon to come. And so those of us who are believers, we shouldn't be worrying about really anything. Right. Now, I know we do. It's human nature to worry about things.
Yes.
But we shouldn't be anxious about anything because our faith is in the Lord.
Right. We shouldn't, but we're human and we do. But that's when we have to, turn back to the Lord. So with those statistics that I gave out, a lot of people don't even know that they're worrying. A lot of people don't even know that they're stressing because this has become a part of their life. Mm-hmm. Right. So, they're saying, okay, well, man, I'm starting to feel sick, or I'm feeling more irritated, or I can't sleep at night. And, all of this is because I'm dealing with a stress, or I'm dealing with something, or I'm worrying about something that I haven't dealt with, and it's affecting my body, is affecting our thoughts, and is affecting our feelings, and it affects our behaviors, right? So this is why it's important for us to feel, deal, and heal. Because why? It affects our body. It affects our thoughts,
yes,
our feelings, and our behaviors. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you ever think about, okay, well, why am I not sleeping at night? If you ever think about, why do I have this this nagging headache, these heart flutters? Why are all these things happening to me, but yet I go to the doctor and nothing's wrong?
Wow.
Right? They can't find nothing wrong. And that is because we are not dealing with what we have to deal with. Right?
I think there's a myriad of reasons for that. I mean, you're talking about a person who deals with things on different levels. You have emotional, spiritual, as well as physical ailments.
Yes.
Right. And we have to be made whole. We have to be healed in every one of those areas if we want to be completely whole.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't realize that sometimes they're dealing with something emotionally, and as a result of it, it affects you physically.
Yes.
But you could also be dealing with something spiritually that affects you emotionally.
That's right. That's right. That is true. You just have to know yourself. And a lot of us don't slow down to know ourselves, right? We have to know ourselves, and knowing ourselves is how do I feel? How do I handle things? Right? Some of us, we feel in a way where it's a slow process, right? Something affects us. We start thinking about it. We start feeling about it, and it just trickles like the little dripping water that just is nagging. It's just nagging. The water just drip, drip, drip. Or that daggone smoke detector that nobody won't put a 9-volt battery in, right? So that's like our feelings constantly picking at us, nagging at us, because we haven't dealt with it.
And then you have some people who ignore, what they're facing or what they're dealing with.
Yes.
Like many of us who ignore that beeping from that smoke alarm. It doesn't mean that, the smoke alarm isn't deficient. It doesn't mean that this problem's not there.
Yeah.
But if there's a real fire, then you're gonna have some. Then you're gonna know and wish that you had that smoke alarm.
Right.
And so if you have issues that you're not addressing, and then something comes up that triggers that, you're not gonna know it until calamity or catastrophe strikes.
Right. So I'm gonna say these little things, and I want you guys to really think about what type of person are you? Are you the dripping faucet where you just let the feelings build up slowly, or are you the person that's just like hit and run the feelings? Be like, man, I can't believe that happened. Okay, well, getting over it. Right? That's just hit and running. You don't really even identify. Something happened. You got a boom. Something happened to you, and you're like, okay, well, that's life. I got to keep it moving. Right? That's the hit and run person. You still not dealing. So we got the person that the little dripping faucet, we got the hit and run, and then we got the person that's on the roller coaster, right? Now we all know what a roller coaster does. Up and down and around and round, and year in and year out. And here I am dealing with the same thing over and over again. So you first have to identify, how do you feel? Are you the dripping faucet? Are you the hit and run? I'm just going to think about it and I'm leaving it. Are you the roller coaster where, okay, I'm going to deal with it now and I'm going to let it go. Then I'm going to go back on there again. Then I'm getting back off. Then I'm going to go around again and get back. I mean, it's just on and on and on and on. Or are you the tsunami? When something happens, it's just like World War III happened and it's like, rah!
Everything's amplified. Everything is super off the rails. It's just extra. With how you respond to it.
Yes. So if you guys don't mind sharing, let us know what you are, right? I used to be the tsunami. If I can be honest, I used to be the tsunami.
Yeah.
Rah! Monica, you said pressure cooker. Well, that's that. I guess that's like the trickle effect. The trickle effect, right? That might be the trickle effect. It builds up, and then it explodes. The hit and run, right?
I'm the hit and run.
You the hit and run?
I'm the hit and run because stuff can happen. It's like, oh, all right, well, now what do we do? And just move on to the next thing. But I think a lot of that has to do with how we experience life in our past. There's different factors that determine how you handle different situations. And for me, a lot of it has to do with my occupation.
Right.
I have to focus on what's coming next. So
right.
I don't put a lot of energy into things that happen, especially even when they're big things.
Yeah.
But it has affected me in the past because I don't do that.
Okay. So you're the hit and run. I'm the tsunami. Monica's the dripping faucet. Carolyn says she was the what? The roller coaster until yesterday. I guess she got some aha moments yesterday.
She shut the amusement park down. See, we're not selling no more tickets.
Amusement park is closed. Roller coaster is done. I'm done with it. I'm not going to be on this roller coaster ride anymore. So the reason why I wanted to throw those out there is because in order for us to feel, we have to know how we feel. We have to identify with what kind of emotions that we deal with. So now we can feel them before we can deal with it. Right. And the thing about it is you have to get to the bottom of what that it is. Yeah. Right. You have to get to the bottom of that it. And I want to ask this question first. How many of us are honest with our feelings? How many of us are honest? Are you honest with your feelings?
I think to what feelings I know.
Oh, that's a good one.
To what feelings I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, answer the question. How many of y'all put your thumbs up if you are honest with your feelings? If you are honest with your feelings, put a thumbs up.
Yeah, a whole lot of people in there.
Not all the time. Okay. All right. Not all the time.
I put my thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But you know what? No, not all the time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. I don't think nobody is all the time.
Okay. So listen to this, because most people are not honest with their feelings. Most people are not dealing. We in America, and when I say this, I'm talking about from a psychological perspective, we are facing a national mental health crisis that could yield serious and social consequences for years to come.
Wow.
All because we don't want to deal and we don't want to heal with it's not that we don't want to heal, but we don't want to deal. So how can you say you really want to heal if you don't want to deal with it? Right? I don't want to deal with it. You hear that all the time. I know growing up, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. That's all I heard. So how do you heal from something you don't deal? And because of that, we are getting ready to face the most serious health and mental health and social consequences, and it's going to affect us for years to come.
Wow. I think also possibly could be because for the first time, I think we're really tracking how significant mental health is in society today. And there's so many people dealing with it, struggling with it,
right?
But so many of them refuse to deal with it, so they can't heal from it. And I think that's what's going to cause a lot of problems down the road.
Yeah, I agree. So the question was, how many of us are honest with our feelings, right? So let's talk about this word no.
Is that N-O or no like you know something?
No, N-O. So we so honest with our feelings. How many times do we say yes when we really want to say no? I've been there.
Oh my man, all the time. It seems like sometimes I feel like I'm saying yes all the time to stuff I would really just want to say no to.
Right. So. But being honest with your feelings will allow you to say no. It will allow you to say no.
I don't always agree with that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you have obligations, and obligations have to be fulfilled whether you want to do them or not. You know, so there's a lot of times I don't want to do something, but I'm obligated to because that's my responsibility. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, so let's look at it from a perspective of helping someone out, lending money, getting up early to drive somebody to the grocery store, taking them to the airport, whatever. Let's look at it from that perspective. We'll be like, no, because we just, maybe we wanted to relax, but we are not. We're going to say no, right? And if we were honest with our feelings, we could say no, but instead we're like, yes, right? And then who's put out? Who's put out? Most of the time, it's us that's put out of the way because we do not want to say no, right? No can be healthy sometimes. Yes, no can be healthy sometimes because if you think about it, most of the problems start when we say yes instead of saying no. Sometimes you should have said no, but you said yes, and now that person coming to you every couple of months for $20.
Right.
I'm just throwing that out there, right? But if we were honest with our feelings and we would say, even if we said yes with a boundary, I'm going to give you this $20 this time, but I'm not giving you it no more. That's fine. But to say yes and you really mean no, and then you find yourself being in some kind of financial stressor or something like that, or even upset at this person that they keep asking you for money, or upset at yourself, but yet you keep doing it. That's because you're not being honest with your own feelings. So the foundation I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, first you need to learn how you feel, and then be comfortable with your feelings, right? Be comfortable with your feelings, right? Know and set the boundary. That's right. And a lot of us don't believe in boundaries, or we let people overstep our boundaries.
You know, okay. Yeah. I don't like the people. You have to. I'm not really sure how you said that. We have to be honest with our feelings, or aware of our feelings, or something you said. Yeah, I think, but there's too many people that let their feelings get them in trouble. And
explain that.
Too many people let their feelings obligate them to not do stuff they should be doing. You know, so I think there has to be a balance with what we do.
Yes.
Because yes, I mean, especially as a believer, you know, we're supposed to bear one another's burden. So now, because I don't feel like doing it, I don't have to do it. I shouldn't have to do that. I don't think that's what we're saying at all. I think there has to be a balance.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, when I'm saying about no, it's not because I just don't feel like it. It's if it's costing me.
Right.
If it's costing me, you know, my mental health, my emotional stability, if it's costing me, then no is the answer. But we will say yes, even at the cost of ourselves. And that's the part that we don't deal with. We're not dealing with. So most of us say yes because we fear. We're not saying yes because we want to. We're saying yes because we fear repercussions. Like, what is the person going to do? What are they going to say? Are they going to leave me? Are they not going to be my friend no more? Are they going to stop calling? Most of it is due to a fear why we keep doing it, because we want to be a part of something. Right? So, and how do I deal with that? Now I got to address, why am I fearful? Right? I started out with saying, say no. But I won't say no because I'm afraid. Because I'm afraid of what? And this is the road how you start learning how to deal with your feelings. Where is this fear of no coming from? Is it coming from a fear of abandonment or rejection? Is it coming because I am a people pleaser?
You want to be accepted?
I want to be accepted. And if I'm a people pleaser, where did that come from? Is it because mom and dad had high expectations? So you see how saying no leads to me having a fear. Now me having a fear has me to go back to, what is the root cause of why I won't say no? And I'm going to use myself for an example. I wouldn't say no because I wanted to be accepted. I wouldn't say no because I felt the more I would say yes, you would accept me, you would like me, and you would be there for me. So I wanted to be a part. I wanted to be included. So I was yesing myself to death. Wow. Does that make so? You see how I dealt with the feelings surrounded around why I won't say no? That's how we learn how to deal with our feelings. Ellasin, why don't you say no? So I want each of you guys to identify, why don't you say no? Are you fearful of what somebody's going to say or do? Are you fearful they won't accept you anymore? And then where is all of that coming from? Let's deal with that.
Maybe even guilt. Maybe even guilt. You know, because I know there's been times when I don't have a problem saying no. If I don't want to do something, I'm just not going to do it. I don't have a problem saying no. But there are times I have felt guilty about saying no because I was not available in the past. You know, being out to sea and being, you know, gone with the military, there are things I didn't really want to do, but I felt obligated to do it because I felt guilty that I wasn't there. You know, so guilt played a part in me saying yes when I normally probably would say no.
Wow. Yeah. And I see where Carolyn said because she feel guilty. So let's find the root of the guilt. You said the root of the guilt was because you wasn't there. Right? So because you wasn't there, the answer is not given, because now that's costing you. Right? So what am I feeling guilty of? And some of us had parents, you know, that, you know, the more we did for them and the more we progressed and the more we helped them and the more we did, we got accolades. So I learned that now, to please them, this I had to just do. So now I'm learning that in order to please other people, I do. And then I feel guilty if I'm not doing for other people. So we have to find out what is the root cause of this guilt. Because how can I deal with it? Because if I'm feeling guilty, you said you was feeling guilty. You feeling guilty. You saying yes, and you want to say no. How is that making you feel?
It leads to frustration because you will go against your better judgment when you feel guilty about something you should. More or less, you say, I don't think we should do this, but I'm going to go ahead and go along with it. Because I haven't been there in the past and it'll make everybody happy. You don't want to stir up the waters. You can't make up the time.
Right.
So what do? The best you can do is say yes to some things and give in to some things you would normally say no to. If it's not completely detrimental to the well-being of the family, it isn't going to destroy your finances. It might not be the best decision, but we're just going to go ahead and do it because I haven't been here in the past.
Right. So again, we have to identify why are we feeling guilty, right? So guys, if you watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and this is what I want to say. When and then I'm gonna address Carolyn's comment. When we come on the show and we give out tips. It's not a one tip fit everybody, but we really hope that you're learning something, because that is our goal, to educate people so that we don't have to be stuck in, stagnant or stuck in what society says makes us happy, but we can actually learn how to deal with these things, and we can heal, because if we heal, then we can teach other people how to heal. Right. And that's the purpose of Real Talk with Ellasin. So I'm really hoping that you guys are doing these things that I suggest, because they are helpful. They are helpful. I'm not speaking just from textbook. I'm speaking from experience as well. Right. So with that being said, we have to address why we feeling what we're feeling about different things. And right now we took that one word no. Right. And we took no, and we identified that people have a fear. That's why they don't say no. People feel guilty because they don't say no. So because we're doing something or acting a certain way, we have to identify what is causing us to be like this in order to deal. And that's what we want you to learn from today's show. Right. So to address Carolyn's comment, she says, what she say? I know they expect me to say yes, and if I say no, I may add to their problem. Okay, so, well, this is Real Talk, and her last 2 words, put that back up there again. Her last 2 words was their problem. Right? Their problem. If I can help, and I'm not saying don't help, but if I can help, then of course be helpful and help out any way you can. That's, especially as Christians, that's what we are there for. And sometimes it is a sacrifice, but be willing to make that sacrifice. That's just like the scripture that says God loves a cheerful giver, right? So if I'm giving cheerfully with all I have, but if I'm helping you and I'm grumbling and all this stuff on the inside, am I really doing you justice? I'm still complaining. I'm still not feeling good. And now not only I'm letting you fix your problem, but now I'm creating a problem within me, because now I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah, I think also what she was saying, it may add to their problem. We have to know when it's time to give, and then there is times when we may be enabling.
Thank you for saying that word. Yes,
we could be enabling a behavior they have because we feel like if we don't supply something or give something or say something or do something, then it's going to create bigger problems for them. Yes. When in actuality, we're just enabling a behavior for them to constantly keep taking.
Yeah, and not only that, how do we help them learn how to feel, deal, and heal if we're constantly doing? They're not. now they're becoming codependent on you because, oh, I know she'll always be there. I'll call her whenever. And yes, as a Christian, we should be there and we should be available. But then there's times where we have to say no for our own self. It's called healthy selfishness. No, I'm not, I can't at the time. It's okay. Right.
Yeah. But there is also stipulations. There's also stipulations for the believer. We're not supposed to just go around and just give everybody all our money. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
If the person is a part of the church, that's, we do what we can to help them, but we're not supposed to just give everything we have to everybody.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense. When it becomes detrimental to, you have responsibilities as well to yourself. You got to take care of yourself and your family.
That's right.
Before you overextend yourself to help somebody else. But you do what you can.
Yes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so many times, and I'm speaking to us women, so many times we pour from an empty cup. And as a matter of fact, most of the time we have five cups and they all empty because we as women multitask and we're doing so much. And then we wonder why we're tired, we're burnt out. We should not be sacrificing our feelings for other people's happiness. No. Your happiness should not come at my sacrifice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
To some degree, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You said your happiness should not come. The sacrifice of your happiness should not come at.
Right.
Say that again.
I should not have to sacrifice me in order for you to be happy. Right? Why do I have to sacrifice my feelings so that you can be happy? Right. That's not fair.
No, because we have to understand that we don't have our goal isn't to make people happy. You can't make somebody happy. Mm-hmm. You can provide a need and help somebody if they're in need, but to make somebody happy, you shouldn't sacrifice how you're happy.
Right.
Your sanity.
Yes.
To try to make people happy.
Yes.
When that might not even happen.
No, and listen to what I'm about to say because this is important. When we stop looking for the approval of others, then we can start looking at how we feel, deal, and heal, right? What we have to do is we have to move the source of approval. Listen to what I'm saying. We have to move it inward from outward. Let me say that again. Move the source of approval. Stop needing approval from other people. Remember, this all started with no. We went to no, we went to fear, we went to guilt, we went to, all this other stuff came from the root of no. So stop having your approval be in you. I need to approve of myself, right? So write that down. Text it to yourself. Text it to somebody. Move the source of approval inward from outward.
Yes.
Stop looking at others for approval for you and approve yourself, right? That's how you learn how to feel, and then you can learn to deal, and then you learn to heal, right? So, and until we move the source and until we start getting approval from inward, only then can we have healthy relationships. And I'm not talking about husband and wife. I'm talking about relationships across the board. Because if I'm seeking approval from you, that relationship isn't healthy. Because I'm feeling like only time I'm approved is by what you tell me I am.
Wow.
And the only thing I feel is by what you tell me I feel. And the only way I'm liked is because I'm telling you yes for everything.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Y'all give me some talk back. Yes.
Then it becomes conditional.
Then it's conditional. Then it's conditional.
And it keeps you on the hook to keep performing.
Yes.
In order to get accolades.
Yes. Tell me, what do y'all think about that? Moving the approval inward from outward. Y'all give me some feedback. What does that mean to you? Do we seek approval from others? That's something you have to sit with yourself. This show is all about you learning to sit with yourself and identify your feelings and deal and heal, right? It might not be the hype, but it's going to help y'all in the future. And this is what we need to do. We need to identify what we feeling and why we feel this way, right? So again, we just learned that I need to be my own source of approval, right? The Lord and myself. That's it. Not anybody else, right? So, all right. People take extreme advantage of saying yes, and they do take extreme advantage of saying yes, right? We can do that in relationships across the board. We can do that in all kind of relationships, saying yes. You can take advantage. A husband can take advantage of his wife and vice versa. You can take advantage of family members, friends, church members, you name it, because you know that person is going to say yes, right? So yes, this takes a lot of soul searching. If we want to heal, how are we going to heal if we don't search us? You know, I'm the first one to tell you, I spent 3 months in the closet with the Lord. Search me, oh Lord. I needed to know what was going on with me. I needed to know. So yeah, we have to soul search.
Oh, that's good. So when you say no to people, their true self comes out. Now that if you tell somebody no and they just flip out on you, they're not worthy of what you was giving them in the first place. Right. They're not appreciative of what you was giving them. You know, if they was really appreciative of what you gave them or what you do for them, then when you say no, it would be like, well, thank you anyway, because I know if you had it, you would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just talking with somebody today. They said no. Oh, see, I knew you wasn't there anyway. And then they tried to guilt trip you. Man, I said yes 20 times and I said no once, and now you guilt tripping me. Again, that's because we teach people how to treat us. You taught them to use you. Yeah. And I'm going to leave that right there. Yeah.
It really does go back to your motive for doing what you do. If you're seeking approval and seeking attention, and it helps to boost your self-esteem because you want to be liked and accepted, then you're going to be doing a lot of stuff. You're not going to have normally the confidence to say no to a person. You know what I mean? So this is where a lot of us will get into trouble. If you're a person that doesn't have a problem saying no, it doesn't matter if anybody approves of you or you like it or not, you know, they like you or not, that might not be an issue with you. Yeah. But at the same sense, we all have something we need healing from.
That's right.
We all have some form of healing that needs to take place. Right.
And I told you guys, you have to know the root of why you do what you do. And the root of my no was because I didn't want to feel neglected or rejected. I felt abandoned. And I just was like, I got to say yes so that they will accept me. But honey, listen, I say nope, nada, no ma'am, no way, Jose, you name it. I got 1,001 ways to no. I say no now. I'll sing it all day long. You want me to play the fiddle? No. It just is what it is because I learned me and I got approval from myself. Listen, when I soul searched and spent that time with the Lord and found out who I was in him, that's all I needed. That is all I needed. And I no.
But you know what?
Especially them kids anyway.
Also on the flip though, if you're a person that you'll say I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need nobody to like me, or I don't, it's okay for me to say no. I can just tell people no, it doesn't matter. Sometimes that comes from you being hurt by somebody because you was giving, you was loving, you was doing things for people. That's and then something and you got extremely hurt from it. And then you just flipped the script and said, you know what? I'm not getting hurt again. So it comes from a position of defense.
Yes.
Like I'm not helping nobody. I'm not doing anything I don't want to do because I'm going to end up getting hurt. I'm not doing it. Yeah. And so what that does is it puts you on an island to where you isolate yourself from anybody and you refuse to be a giving, loving person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because again, deal with the root.
Right.
Am I saying no because I've been hurt?
Yes.
Right. And then as a Christian, we have to definitely heal from that and learn to forgive. And when you come from a place of being hurt and saying no there, now you have to retrain yourself to become a little bit more vulnerable to give again, to say yes again. Yeah, right. Yeah, no matter what you're feeling, you have to get to the root of why I'm feeling this way. Right. So let's move this over into trauma and grief. A lot of people don't want to deal with trauma and grief. They, what did we say? Do y'all remember what we said? The feelings were? We had the what? The little trickle effect, the dripping water.
Trickle effect.
We had the hit and run. I thought about the feeling. Now I'm done. We had the roller coaster round and round and round and round. And then we had the tsunami where you just go off. Those are the 4 feelings that you have to identify. Where do you fall in at? Right? And identifying where you fall in at is now I need to learn how to deal with those feelings. The tsunami effect is not the best. And I told y'all I was a tsunami. It's not the best, but that's how I was dealing with it, because it was a protection mode. Again, remember, we have to identify why we're feeling and doing the things that we do. So trauma or grief, right? Trauma occurs. People say, well, what's trauma? I didn't have trauma, but trauma occurs when something happens above our threshold. We can't tolerate it no more.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, I'm really thinking about the tsunami mode, because even though, listen, I said I'm a hit and run, I know when I used to be a tsunami.
Yeah.
I know when I used to be a tsunami, I go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like,
right.
That's what I was over here giggling about, because I'm like, okay, you think, okay, oh yeah.
Well, you wanted to be all over there, all
I
nice.
was a tsunami, but now I'm looking at, how I managed that, because I realized it was destructive.
Yeah.
And in some things, I probably could still be a tsunami, but I'm more focused on trying to be the hit and run. Like that's where I tend to operate. I'm sorry, I just took over the show.
No, I'm just glad when you didn't say anything, I was gonna let you, have it. Listen, I'm a tsunami, and I'm not proud. Hi, my name is Ellasin. I used to be a tsunami. So
no, but because that's not where I see myself.
Can you imagine 2 tsunamis? Ooh, Lord, y'all
talk
pray.
About a storm, man.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. So, Nikita put up. What did she put up? She was reading.
She's reading a book. Yeah, reading.
So she's reading a book named Good Boundaries and Goodbyes. This real talk conversation aligns with the book. I'm gonna have to text me that. I'm gonna have to see what that's all about. I would love to have that book.
Goodbyes.
Yes, you got to say goodbye, but we're fearful of that rejection or the abandonment. So we don't say goodbye. We just stay in it. And that's not fair. But I was moving on to trauma, and I was saying that trauma, a lot of people don't know what trauma is, but it's when something happens and it goes above our threshold, so to speak, or beyond our window of tolerance. It just takes us to a stressful event and is beyond our tolerance. So now it becomes a traumatic experience, and it creates these emotions that we don't know how to deal with. So when this happens, different aspects of a person, the reality begins to get a little distorted, right? Like, oh my goodness, fragments of reality, they disconnect from one another. I don't know, like, what's going on? Like, is this real? Did this really happen? What happened? Right. So all of that is trauma, whether it's trauma that, something happened in life, an accident, you've seen something, you witnessed something, you experienced something. Grief can be traumatic. All of this is traumatic, but I have to realize that there have been fragments of my mental stability have been disconnected from one another. And now I have to learn how to put them back. But first I have to identify that this happened to me. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. I know I said a lot.
No.
Y'all need clarity?
No, you said that. So the traumatic experiences, even if you have more than one, it fractures your ability to be able to cope, to be able to understand. And so what you're saying is there's parts of yourself emotionally that you got to put back together because the experience was above what you can actually handle. Right.
And it broke you. And again, those 4 ways that we said how to feel, we have to identify. And with some of those feelings, people don't deal, like the hit and run. They be like, oh, it happened. And then they disregard it. It's over. It's done. And they put it in the back of their mind. Mm-hmm. But if it's in the back of your mind, it's going somewhere. And it's happening. It's still in your mind. Mm-hmm. You wonder why you're raging. You wonder why you're upset, why you have headaches, sleeping, and all this other stuff, because there's something that you didn't deal with in the back of your mind. It's stuck in the corridors of your unconscious.
Yeah. Oh, it'll come out in different ways, because if you're a high, listen, I'm adding levels to it now. If you're a high hit and run person, let's say
that's not what it is.
Let's say you've been you've been exposed to various traumatic experiences, like. What that does, maybe how you cope with it, is like you push it away or you try to get past it. but it's going to come out in another avenue. For example, it could cause you to be, a person that's so emotionally withdrawn, you have no compassion,
right?
Or you show no sympathy or compassion for other people. It's just kind of like you become desensitized to their trauma because you're just like, oh, that's it. That's all you had to deal with.
That's right.
And so it doesn't really register anymore because what should be normal to you, you've already been pushed way beyond that. So when somebody else is dealing with something, it's just kind of like, oh wow, that's it. That's all you got.
Yeah. No, you have to allow yourself to understand that you've been through a trauma. And Quita said it's called let go and let God. And that statement,
yes, let go and let God.
How do you let go? Right. So this is why that statement to me is like, you just telling me to let go and let God, but how do I let go? That's why I'm talking about feel, deal, and heal. That's how I start letting go. But if I say I'm just a hit and run and I just give that quick thought and I'm letting it go, I'm not really letting it go. And like you were saying, the feelings are coming out. I can start letting it go and let God when I deal with it. When I allow God to show me and deal with it, because I might be having something I don't even know that's in there that I haven't dealt with.
Yeah, the let go, let God phrase, we kind of use it more than we should. I think should be used in the context of when something is completely out of your control, right? And you have no way of changing the situation. You just let go and allow God to do believe God to do what only he can do. In the process of like our everyday dealing with each other and our emotions and how we are trying to deal with receiving healing.
Yeah.
There's that process of letting go and letting God requires you to do something.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to do something, and just letting go. Yeah. So letting go means what? Well, there's some steps you need to take if you're going to let go in order to be able to allow that to happen.
Feel, deal, and heal.
That's
how we let go. Because if not, guess what? That roller coaster getting ready to come right around again. Because we didn't feel and deal and heal. How many times we say, oh man, I'm going through this again. We didn't pass the test. We didn't deal with it. We didn't deal with it right. We didn't heal from it. Right. And that's how we can start beginning to let go and let God once we deal with it. Because truth be told is when we feel it and we deal with it, we need to tell it to God. But sometimes we don't want to even tell it to God. Well, God knows. And you know what? Us as Christians, don't we got some cliches because we don't want to deal with nothing?
Right.
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Girl, you was just crying over there just a minute ago. Right? So, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to just let go and let God. But you were just worrying about it. And then you called them, so we have these cliches that we say, and it's not the truth. We're not dealing with how we really feel. And I learned this some years ago, probably about 7 years ago. Instead of me saying, blessed and highly favored, oh, I'm fine, oh God, and all this other stuff, I say, you know what? Today's been a day. Pray for me. Or you know what? I'm still here. God bless. I'm still here. Pray for me. I don't have to go blessed and highly favored, and all this stuff. I know I'm blessed and highly favored, but I'm going through something right now. Right. And the thing about it is we don't want to say we're going through it because we're ignoring it.
You're afraid of admitting you're going through makes you less of a believer.
Right. I like that you said that. Admitting we're going through, right, is make you feel like you less than a believer. No, I am a believer.
Because you're going through.
Because I'm going through, right?
That might be the indication that you are on the right side.
Carolyn said we need to be real with ourselves. Carolyn, listen, y'all about to have me jump out this seat. If I can't be real with me, how can I be real with you?
Okay. How can you be real?
How can
you be real with God? So listen, Isaiah 40:29 says he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. But you have to go to him to get that strength. And if you don't go to him with the truth, then you can't receive from God how he wants to heal you, because you are not willing to open up to what you're really dealing with.
That's right. If we can't open up to all knowing, to God Almighty, to the Alpha and Omega, if we can't open up to him, who are we really opening up to?
And the thing is, we're not telling him something he doesn't already know.
That's right.
Right? Us going to God and expressing what we're dealing with is so that we can get it out and hear it in our ears and acknowledge what is being said.
Yeah.
We're acknowledging what we're dealing with, what we're struggling with, what we need him to help us with.
Yes.
And then we believe him to help us get through what we don't want to acknowledge.
Listen, that's right. Listen, we have to first understand where we are. We first have to know where we are, right? That's just like if you go back to God when he said, Adam, where are you? He wasn't thinking twice about Adam, where are you? He knew where Adam was. That question, Adam, where are you, was for Adam. Mm-hmm. So in us learning how to feel, deal, and heal, do you know where you are? Are you identifying with your feelings? Do you know why you do some of the things you do? And if not, then you know what? Talk to someone, go to a counselor, go to a friend, a good friend. You know, go to clergy, go to someone and get some help. But we got to know where we are. We have to be real with ourselves. And a lot of times we're not. And I'm not saying this about, you know, men, you know, because I'm not a man, but especially us women, you know, we do our hair, we put on our outfit, we put on our popping lips, our stilettos on, and we good, right? We looking all good on the outside, inside toe up, because we're not dealing with it. We're just going, and we got 5 empty cups. We not feeling, and nobody else is feeling, right? And this is because we don't be real with ourselves. I'm not saying you got to walk out looking all crazy out of the house, but when you in that house, take off all that, take the wig off, take everything off you got to do. Get naked before God and be real with yourself.
Wow.
It's the truth.
But you said it. Be real with yourself.
Be real with yourself.
Otherwise, this is why some people go, they're troubled when they go to pray, because they don't acknowledge what they're really dealing with. It's almost as if they don't want to say it. They don't want to let it out.
Yeah.
What they're really dealing with, but they're in the mumbling words they think God wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not why we're here. Yeah. We're not here so you can tell me what you think I want to hear.
Right.
I'm here with you so you can tell me what you really dealing with, what you really need.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Psalms 147:3 says that he heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds.
Man.
Will you let him bind your wounds?
That's right.
Will you even acknowledge that you're broken somewhere?
We don't want to admit we're broken. We got to look like we got it all together. We got to act like we got to go all together. And then we get in the house, we start peeling off stuff, and we wonder why we just sitting there all sad. Because we're not dealing with it, right? Once we are able to identify where we are, once we are able to identify our feelings, once we are able to identify we were hurt, we were angry, we felt rejected, we felt abandoned, whatever the case may be that we felt, once we identify this, then we can start regaining control over our lives.
Yes.
But as long as I don't deal with it, I'm still giving whatever happened that control. Make sense? Y'all give me thumbs up or say amen or yes, sister, or something. Make sense? As long as I am allowing myself to waddle in this, I am still giving the situation control. But once I'm able to identify where I am, I can now take control back of my life. Right? I don't see y'all. Y'all not with me. I ain't see not one amen. So yeah, we have to do that. That's how we feel, deal, and heal. You can't heal all the way if you don't feel and deal with it. You can't heal all the way if you don't have God, right? And I'm going to say it. God is the most important part of the healing process. He is. We can't totally heal without him.
But you got to be real. You got to be real. Did not Jesus ask, wilt thou be made whole?
Yes.
He said, do you want to be? Like, you've been here for how long? You've been in that situation for how long? You've been struggling with what you've been struggling with emotionally for how long? Do you even want to be healed?
Right. Because
now being healed is going to require you a process. It's going to require you to do something. And maybe people are afraid to go through that process.
Right.
Right. But he's asking the question. That's why people can't come to the altar and not get deliverance. That's why people can't get healing. And it's because some things they ain't ready to get delivered from.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You know, we don't want to. We have to be open. We have to be honest with ourselves.
We have to be open. We have to be honest. We don't want to. Sometimes we don't want to deal with the repercussions of revisiting what we've been through, right? Because it hurts. We got it. It hurts. So because of the repercussions of what we went through, we put it over there. But you don't understand that avoiding something grows the situation. You hear what I'm saying? When you avoid it, it grows the situation. It doesn't go away. It's growing. And 9 out of 10 times is growing in a negative manner, right? Because I've been avoiding for so long. So I'm avoiding and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing, right? So we have to stop avoiding and we have to learn to allow ourselves to feel. It's okay to feel, right? Jesus wept. So we gotta allow ourselves to feel. And this is again how I'm saying we regain control over our lives. We have to understand that we have work to do. There is work to do in feeling, dealing, and healing. We have to walk through those stages. We have to identify, are we angry? Are we hurt? Are we bitter? Do we have unforgiveness? What is it that we're harboring that we have to work through? Right? We have to identify that. Once we identify that, then we can say, okay, you know what? I'm feeling this. I feel this way because you hurt my feelings. Right? I feel this way because you made me feel neglected. I feel this way because you made me not feel like a part. I feel like this because of my own mistakes, right? Whatever the case is, we need to deal with that so that we can take back control. It's going to bring up unwanted feelings, but deal with them. Deal with them so I can now heal. Because all I'm doing is moving from church to church, person to person, relationship to relationship with my same broken self, wondering why the cycle is happening.
And even counselor to counselor.
Counselor to counselor, and hoping that somebody will agree with me and my broken self.
Ooh, man.
No. Y'all can't come up in my office with that because we're going to hit the reality of things. And that's the whole thing. In order to heal, listen, I told my story some months ago, and God told me it was time to tell my story. Sometimes telling our story and telling our story and telling our story again is part of the healing process, right? Telling how we miss this individual. I still say how much I miss my mom. That's part of my healing process, right? That's me taking control of it and not allowing it to take control of me. By telling my story and telling my story and telling how I feel and telling how I feel, I'm now taking control of it instead of allowing it to cause me to be stressed, upset, angry, depressed, anxious, worried, whatever the case may be, right? Most importantly, guys, we have to know that we have to make sure we have forgiveness across the board. We started out with the word no. And we identified that some people was fearful, some people was guilty, some people was scared to say no because of rejection, all of this stuff like that. Now we have to work on forgiveness. If somebody did something to us, we have to forgive them. If we made mistakes that created issues, you got to forgive your own self. You've got to forgive your own self. Deal with that and heal with that and forgive that. That's why the past keep knocking on the door, because we didn't deal with it. We did not deal with it. Amen. So we have to deal with it. We also have to take responsibility just for our own role in a relationship. I can't be responsible because you wanted to do something to hurt me, but I can set a boundary that you don't hurt me again.
That's true.
Right? I can't do anything what you did the first time, but the second time I definitely can do it.
That's right.
So this is how we learn to feel, deal, and heal. Now, we talked about 4 different types of emotions, which was the little trickle effect, right? We talked about the hit and run person, which I'm going to think about it and leave it alone. That don't work. The roller coaster, that don't work. The tsunami, and that don't work. Identify how you express your feelings. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I behaving this way? Why am I saying this? Right? This is how you allow yourself to feel. Feelings are good. A lot of people will say, oh, it don't take all that. You don't have to have no feelings, but feelings are good. It helps you to know that you're still alive. That's what feelings are there for. How you handle them is different.
Yeah.
Dealing with them. Guys, we got to deal with our issues. We've got to deal with our issues. I can't say that enough, because if we don't heal, we are broken people, and we sitting out there trying to help people in our brokenness, and we breaking other people too.
My gosh, we're broken people who end up breaking other people.
That's right, because we not dealing. If we don't deal, we are going. And even if it's our children, we're doing that because how are we telling them the right way to do something and we're not even doing it? So we have got to deal, and then that's how we start healing. And that's how you can start telling yourself, you know what, I dealt with that already, right? Because when we go through things, it's not to say it's not going to come up, but we can say, you know what, I dealt with that already. And we don't have to allow it to constantly keep affecting us, right? Thank you for helping us 2023. You're so welcome. We're going to get through this year. This is the year that we're not going through anything else, right? There was nothing 6 days ago that didn't come over here now. And I said 6 days ago, that was the 31st. That was 2022. We still brought all that baggage over here with us in 2020. We just did. It didn't disappear at midnight. Oh, Happy New Year. Our baggage is gone. No, we've got to deal with this. We tired of carrying this baggage around. That's what we have to deal with. So it is so important for you to forgive yourself, because forgiving yourself is crucial to your healing. To forgive yourself, you must accept that you, like if you was in trauma, you were vulnerable. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And then if I made a mistake and I created something, okay, you know what? Where was I at in that state? Was I broken then? Was I looking for love in all the wrong places that I created that mistake? Look and see where you are. Deal with what happened and then forgive. Forgiveness is so important. And you have got to allow yourself to feel, deal, and heal. And I want to give you guys this, right? Give yourself, this is how I want you to do it. So listen to this. Feel, deal, and heal. Yes. Listen to this. This is how you're going to examine yourself. Take 30 to 45 minutes, right? The first few minutes, I don't care what you do. Cry, yell, holler, scream, throw the pillow, punch the pillow, whatever you want to do. The first 2-3 minutes. Then I want you to just ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? And get away from anger. Anger is the default emotion. Get away from that. What are you really feeling? Are you sad? Are you feeling rejected? Are you feeling depressed? Are you anxious? Are you worried? So identify, what am I really feeling, right? Am I feeling disrespected? What is it? And then ask yourself, okay, so why am I feeling like this? Is it something I've done? Is it something somebody else done to me? This is how we feel, heal, and deal, right? And then when you're sitting there and you ask yourself all these other questions, then ask yourself, okay, staying in this state, how is this helping me right now? Yeah. Staying angry, staying mad, staying in a state of unforgiveness, how is this really helping me right now? Right? And then you move on to that and you bring it to the here and now. So let me give you a scenario. If I went out there and I spent $1,000 and Eric was fussing and yelling at me, and then I'm mad and I'm sitting up here sad, or whatever the case may be, right? So now I'm saying, okay, I'm sad. That's what I'm feeling right now. So what is me sitting here in this sadness doing? It definitely ain't bringing back that $1,000. Sure ain't. Right? So now I have to help myself get through. Okay, Ellasin, you made a mistake. You spent that money, you shouldn't have. Maybe you should have asked a little bit. Maybe it could have came a little bit later, and then I'm going to deal with the here and now. Babe, I'm sorry that I spent the money and I'm dealing with it. Ellasin, you have to stop sitting in the pity party and you have to start looking how to move on, right? That's how you feel, deal, and heal. Because if you feel and deal, and don't allow yourself to heal, you're going to continue to cycle. Always bring it right to the here and now. If this is not helping me sit in this sad state, then I need to do something to move out of this state, right? I need to move out of it. That's how we feel, deal, and heal. And you may have to continue this process over and over again, because we have to change our mindset, because we've been dealing this way for so long. Yeah. So now we have to change our mindset to be more healthy, to learn to feel, deal, and heal. Amen? Y'all with me? Amen. We feeling, we dealing, and we healing in 2023. And all y'all hanging out with me, y'all gonna hear that almost throughout this whole year. Because I declare we gonna be healed people. And we gonna shout for real. We ain't gonna be shouting over no mess. Amen. So thank you guys so much for joining Real Talk with Ellasin. I hope you got some clarity on how to heal, right? Feel, deal, and heal. Hope you got some clarity on that. We have some great shows coming up. We're going to talk about how to help our children coming up the next few shows, how to identify things that our children are going through. And I got some exciting stuff happening for Black History Month coming up. So y'all, and then also let me know some topics. If you want to talk about something, let us know. We'll get here and we'll talk about it with Real Talk, whether I'll grab my hubby sometimes, my co-host Jaquita jump on here sometimes, and we'll have other people jumping in. So let me know some topics. But if you don't remember nothing else, y'all need to learn how to feel, deal, and heal. Thanks for watching Real Talk with Ellasin. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.